Okay. Anybody's trip. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to thank you all for coming today. Another great announcement. It seems like the city of Philadelphia has been on a roll recently. Good thing after good thing, and today we want to continue that path along making sure that the city works, making sure that we make life easier. In this particular case, make life easier for businesses and individuals and whoever has to deal with the bureaucracy of government. As a district council person and prior to that a staffer, I would always get calls, people saying, I want to put a deck on my house, and I had to go to 4 different buildings, and and I had to hire a consultant to get through this process, and they gave me this big bill at the end of the day, and they said half of the things that I went through, they weren't even relevant to what I wanted to do. Go developer, right, comes and wants to do some stuff, and they got to hire an expediter or a lawyer, and I've actually gotten some funny looks from a couple of lawyers because they say that if we are successful in this measure, that they're going to get put out of work, right? Because things will be too easy for everybody, but be that as it may. The simple reality is that we in council talked about this over the years about some of the things that we can do about making life easier for individuals who have to go through the maze of business regulatory system, the bureaucracy of government, and we figured that we have to figure out a way to make it a little easier for people. So we reached out to the Chamber of Commerce and we reached out to the city of Philadelphia, and we sat down and we said, you know what, we have to figure this out. So as a result of that, and talking to our colleagues, that we established a special committee in City Council on the business regulatory reform, and we'll look at a myriad of things, legislation, regulations, all of the things that present challenges for people. And I would like to say that we're happy that we have gotten 3 awesome co-chairs. My good friend and colleague, Councilman Derek Green, my good friend, not a colleague, but he's still my good friend, Harold Epps, and the guy that makes it all works in the business world, my good friend, Wonderling. So today, we are officially announcing the establishment. I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Green. He's going to talk about the membership and the mission of and then we will subsequently follow with Commerce Director Epps and the Chamberman, Mr. Rob Wonderling. Councilman.
Thank you, Council President Clark, for those words and your leadership in starting this initiative. Good morning. As a former small business owner and as a former bank lender, it's a pleasure to be here to talk about this issue of how to make it easier for businesses in the city of Philadelphia to grow and operate. Together with my fellow co-chairs, Commerce Director Harold Epps and the President of the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, Rob Wonderling, I'm really excited to be a part of this initiative and this special committee. 3 of my council colleagues will also be joining me in this special committee effort. We have Councilwoman Maria Quinones-Sanchez, Councilman Kenyatta Johnson, and also Councilman Al Tautenberger, who's also the former president of the Greater Northeast Chamber of Commerce. Also along with us and on this committee is Salim Chapman, who serves as the Policy and Advocacy Manager for the Sustainable Business Network, and he has been a long advocate for streamlining Philadelphia's regulatory structure. The bulk of the committee, however, and the people who will be leading the subcommittees where most of the work will be done, are citizens who run local businesses that have graciously agreed to volunteer their valuable time, energy, and experience to help us improve the way the city operates. I want to thank these 7 for joining the special committee and providing their perspective on how City Hall can better partner with businesses across Philadelphia. Please join us at the podium as I introduce each of you. Saba Tedla is the owner of Booker's Restaurant, and she'll be the co-chair of our Food and Hospitality Subcommittee. Chairing the Professional Services Subcommittee will be Luz Cardenas, who's a founding partner at Cardenas Grant Communications, and Marcus Iannozzi, the founding principal at the Message Agency. Laurie Ackman, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Penn Center for Innovation, will co-chair the Technology and Life Sciences Startup Subcommittee. The Manufacturing Subcommittee will be co-chaired by Chet Riddick, President and CEO of Alpha Enterprise Group. One of my neighbors in Mount Airy, Anuj Gupta, he is the General Manager of the Reading Terminal Market Corporation, and he will co-chair the Small Business Subcommittee. Mike Brown, the CEO at Environmental Construction Services, will be the Real Estate Subcommittee co-chair. As you see, this team that we have assembled have a wide range of experiences and background and expertise of doing business here in the city of Philadelphia. They also have the temperament and energy to help us to reconsider the way Philadelphia does business. I want to thank each of you, not only for joining us on this somewhat slightly gloomy day, I'm not sure if it's still raining, but hopefully the sun will be coming out and put some sunshine and sunlight on the work of this committee. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Commerce Director Epps, who will then be followed by the President of the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, Rob Wonderling.
So, good afternoon. It is a sunshiny day for me because 9 or 10 years ago, I served as chair of the tax task force for the previous administration. And from that process, we learned that Philadelphia had the greatest line item number of taxes in the country. We also learned that it was a very complex and bureaucratic system to do business with, as Councilman Clark talked about. I want to thank him for leading this initiative, along with Councilman Green, Councilwoman Quinona Sanchez, and my good friend Rob Wonderling. But through my first 18 months, we've been talking with council and others about what we can do to continue to advance Philadelphia, and I'm happy that we've come to this point. One of the things I learned in the private sector that served me very well was you needed to be nimble, flexible, and easy to do business with. And that's one of the things that I will bring to this process, is challenging us to be as easy to do business with as we can. In order to do that, in my mind, as we go into this, we've got to evaluate all the things that we put on the books over the last half century. Do they still serve us well today? And if they do not, we ought to figure out ways to eliminate them. And those that do, can we figure out ways to simplify, streamline, and eventually, hopefully, automate? Because what I have learned as I've had a chance to visit other cities and countries is that they, in many cases, are more flexible than we are. And we should never lose sight of the fact that in today's world, we're competing against every other city, not in the region, not in the state, not in the country, but in the world. And so this is important work. I would say that this is a journey, not a destination. This is going to take some time. We will celebrate victories as we go, and we must have victories, but you got to be patient with us because it's going to be a long road, and we're going to have to tussle with it because we still have to protect the best interests of what's on the books while figuring out ways to make it less. So again, Councilman Clark, I want to thank you for your leadership to get us to this point. I look forward to working with all of you and the committees as we move forward, and I will pass it on to Rob Wonderling. Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
So my remarks will be brief. I just want to amplify and echo the speakers on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia and the approximately 600,000 employees that we represent in this city of Philadelphia and throughout the Greater Philadelphia region. We are really, really excited about this opportunity to serve, to engage, to transform, yes, Harold, to compete, but also to win. This is about winning in a global economy. And that can only happen where things are moving at a lightning speed through outstanding partnerships with our government, with our business community, with entrepreneurs, with the not-for-profit community, with grassroots neighborhood organizations. And what we find absolutely exhilarating about this time and place, representing this business community in this city, is that it has already become a globalized business community. Whether they be large publicly traded organizations, or entrepreneurs in our neighborhood commercial corridors. So any effort, whether it takes a couple days or a couple years, Harold, is worth the effort to unburden these entrepreneurs, these enterprises with outdated, outmoded regulations. Now, we are on a journey, but hopefully this journey will have key milestones along the way. And what has impressed us through the leadership of Council President Clark, Councilman Derek Green, Councilwoman Quinones, and Taubenberger is that this isn't just an announcement today. This is a commitment over the long haul for regulatory reform in a way that'll be transparent, that'll be comprehensive, that'll be practical, and that will serve the interests of all enterprises throughout all neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia. I am extremely hopeful that through the excellent volunteer leadership that is assembled before us today, that we're going to get to work. We're going to get a lot done this summer, and perhaps when our council president bangs down the gavel with the return of council in the fall, we'll have some things to roll off those books, obsolete regulations that get in the way of enterprises and entrepreneurship. So, again, thank you for your leadership, Council President. There's not a moment to lose.
Right.
Thank you, Rob. I just want to just close this press conference, thank the Council President, my co-chairs, the members of the special committee, my fellow council members, all the subcommittee chairs who are here, and all the staff who will help us on this initiative. I see Councilman Sanchez. I hope you will join us since you're a member of this special committee. You bring additional diversity to this committee. But at this point, I'd like to close this press conference. As we all know, that poverty is one of the largest issues that face our city, and anything that we can do to allow our small businesses especially to grow, and by reducing some of these regulations and challenges, will allow them to grow, to hire more people, and help us to reduce poverty here in the city of Philadelphia. So thank you.
Journalists always thinking about context. Some observers might wonder if it might be a little awkward for you on the committee, given the chamber's lawsuit over wage equity. Are you concerned?
Absolutely not. We are a very mature, sophisticated business community working hand in glove with a very mature and sophisticated government. We're engaged with the county administration and city council on a whole range of issues daily, some that make the news, many that do not, all with the common goal of driving this city forward, all with the common goal of growth and prosperity for all citizens.
Except that 4 times in the news release that was released Tuesday, you called the city anti-business. This certainly is anti-business.
If anything, I applaud the council president's leadership in assembling the business community, members of council, key volunteer leaders that represent the various economic sectors, for-profit and not-for-profit, to recognize that part of working to create a competitive and global environment where enterprises want to invest and start enterprises, the city is to be on a path to modernization. Yes, from time to time, we have our disagreements on public policy issues in city council and with this administration, but this is one initiative that we're in full agreement. How can we not step back, collaborate, and welcome the input from entrepreneurs into this city to find ways to improve the regulatory environment? And again, hats off to the council president for exercising such leadership, such transparent leadership.
Council President, do you have any second thoughts about initiating this olive branch of the business community?
Today, it's a love fest. All right. Now, folks, you have to be nimble enough to understand that on a particular day you may have some disagreements, but the simple reality is that people want you to get something done. So you should be in a position, you might argue, fight, whatever today and disagree, but tomorrow is another day, and today is a good day. Today is a day when we're on the same page, we understand the challenges, and I think that this team that's been assembled today is going to be a team that's going to make some significant difference. And as was said earlier, I think, who said, Rob, you said it, September, as we bang the gavel to start our September session, I guarantee you that we'll have something on the books that we will repeal, some law that was passed at some point in time during the course of the year, where we will make it a little easier for businesses in the city of Philadelphia. So I'm excited about the day. I say some things every now and then, you know, I called something ridiculous a few months ago, and we just, you know, now yesterday passed the revenue from what I call ridiculous, right? out of committee yesterday. So, you know, you say things, but at the end of the day, you move on and you do what you need to do for the citizens of the city.
The disagreement is different than a lawsuit, certainly in the expenses of the city that is incurred by defendant.
Well, I mean, I can recall I sued Governor Ed Rendell when I was a councilman who was somewhat irresponsible because I wasn't a council president. I could do whatever I wanted. And I sued Governor Ed Rendell, right, for lost and stolen guns, right? That wasn't personal, that was business. And I called him and told him, I'm going to sue you, right? And I did that, right? I lost, but, you know, you do what you have to do, right? But it's not personal. I mean, you know, Rob and I talk literally 2 times a week. We were on a conference call 2 nights ago about some things that we needed to happen. So you have to understand that it's not personal, it's about business. Every now and then we disagree, but we agreed today that we're going to move ahead and we're going to do some good work with this committee. All right, thank you. Good?
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Always a pleasure.